Hello and welcome to the Flory Models Friday catch-up show. Here we are with you on the 11th of August 2023 after another absolutely great week. Plenty of building done. Been working a lot on the Harrier. We've also done a little bit more on Blue Thunder. I've done a ton of reviews as well, and obviously we had the back end of last week to deal with. So there was no actual show on Friday or anything else like that. Apologies, but I've obviously had the lovely people from Braveco down with me, and they were here. Hold on, I've got a picture of them in the studio here. Hold on. There we go. Here they are. That's the lovely Kareen and Abid. They were down here as well with us. So it's great to have them down. And they brought obviously a lot of the display stuff because obviously they're the European importer for display. So they were here down with us, talking all things and everything else. And then obviously we had the rest of the Motley crew came down for the entire weekend, where we had a very nice couple of days. A bit of food, bit of barbecue, couple of takeaways, and just a little bit of beer, and generally just talking shop and all things like that. So it was really nice to have the guys back. Haven't seen them all since New Year. As a lot of you probably don't realise, but PM Models is based around about 250 miles away from here. Andy's in one place, everyone else, and obviously Kareen and Avid, they were obviously down in the Netherlands, and they came over, and it's very, very rare we all actually get together. So we try and do it at least twice a year to actually see each other in person. So we were talking shop, we were talking modelling, we were talking kit releases. The guys were obviously having a look at some of the stuff that I've got down in here, like the new FX Seeking and a couple of things that aren't out yet, and casting their little eyes over them and stuff like that. So it's really, really good. Obviously, we're talking a lot of things about what we do, the live shows, the members stuff, and everything else in there and everything in between. So yeah, good old time, good catch up, good friends, lots of laughs, as you might imagine. And generally just pushing on with it. Anyway, it all did properly start for me though on Tuesday. Monday I was sort of catching up with this and getting this all out with you. So on Tuesday we actually had the live show. That started 3 o'clock. As always, we have the live show. And as you can see down in here, I was doing a little bit more work on Blue Thunder. So we'll have a look at it afterwards. We've done this, but I was basically going around decaling it. And to say the decals, because this kit is very, very old, the decals are not behaving exactly how you'd want. So they've got this sort of milky film to them that you need to sort of rinse off before you can put it down onto your model and get them nailed down. But to be honest, they didn't split, they didn't crack, they didn't dissolve on me and what I was expecting. So they held their own. It's just that they're completely out of register. It's a typical sort of 1980s kit. So consequently, all the decals are out. That white barring round it shouldn't be on it in theory. But we're running out of time on this build, so we went with what we've got. Some of the decals, to be honest, I couldn't use because they're just gnarly. There you go, a little bit of set and sole. And I was going through doing that. At the same time as that, Matt was spraying. So Matt was obviously, we're not sure about the blue. I think he needs to tone it down. I think that's far too strong for the blue. But anyway, he was showing obviously painting that one and using the actual 3rd gen acrylics. Obviously, we're talking about primers there. And don't forget, all of these shows, they're totally interactive. Anybody can join in. They're free to watch. They're on social media and YouTube and things like that. And obviously, the chat bars and boxes are all open as well. So if you've got any questions, you want to ask anything about paints, styles, what we're up to, or anything in general, you can ask at any point. All right. So literally just post up in there and we'll get you a question if we can during the show. They're on every single Tuesday at 3 p.m. So if you want to join in with those ones, you can do so. You don't have to be a member or a subscriber or anything else like that. You can just come along, chill out for around about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we just generally just have a bit of modelling, get some modelling done. And it's just, as I say, laid back, relaxed. And we can answer your questions. You can chat amongst yourselves, so forth and so on. But anyway, Matt's been working on the Land Rover on that one. I was working obviously on Blue Thunder and everything in between. So if you'd like to join in with these shows, you can do at any point. Pop along to the old social media, obviously on YouTube, like and subscribe and all the rest of it. Ring a bell and you'll know when we're on next. And the same thing goes as well on Facebook. All right. So if you want to catch up with those ones, just sort of simply just Google Flory Models and you'll come up with all of that down in there. Wednesday was the PM show. We were talking about this great kit, which is an old favourite of ours, and it's got a new boxing of it. It's just come out in Australian markings, as we can clearly see. So anyway, this is my one that I did about 5-6 years ago when it first came out. So I did the Cuban one, and this is Andy's down in the bottom here. He did the standard sort of Royal Navy one. And Matt over here did the Czech one as well. So again, some nice ones down in there. And we're discussing that, plus all the other things from the PM show. So the PM show literally is a little insight into the world of PM models. up at Doncaster. So it's about our pre-orders, our members discounts, and everything modelling related and all the rest of it in between. So if you want to catch up with those shows, you can do. They're free to watch, and they're usually up on the net around about 3 or 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. All right, you can catch that one. Member show last night, which is really good. So it's just purely for the members. So we can be a little bit more, how should I put this, edgy when we're doing the members only shows, because we're not live to the world, so we can talk about everybody else. No, we don't. We're very, very good. Well, sometimes. Anyway, so you can catch up with those shows if you want to. For members, you do have to be a member. Don't forget, we've got our members only chat area, so you can join, you can subscribe into that one, and you can ask questions, you can show us your work. And if anybody knows it, you'll know it's more about having a laugh and a giggle. We were supposed to be doing some work in this show, but unfortunately we got completely sidetracked and just ended up yapping for 2 hours instead. So, but anyway, if you want to catch up with that one, members, you can go back. It is in the archive set, and you can catch up with any of the shows down in there. And Matt's now talking about books, because we were saying Trago Mills down in Devon, they're great for books. They've got a ton of stuff in there at the moment, and Matt bought half of them, as you can see down in there. But anyway, if you want to catch up with any of these ones, you can do, members. Just pop along into the section and you can get all of those down in there. That brings us up to today, where part 6 of the Harrier is up, and again, been pushing on with this one. So part 6 basically covers all the joining of it up, the sanding, the filling, and the seam lines, of which there isn't too bad. It's not bad a kit, really. As I say, considering it's 50 years old, it goes together okay. And as I say, a little bit of acrylic acrylic paint, just to check the seam lines and make sure the filler's behaving and things down in there. A little bit of surgery, so obviously this kit's having a little bit of surgery just to bring it up to spec. So we're using resin aftermarket wheels, so we're just setting those out, drilling those, pinning them, and all the rest of it down into place, and then changing the mechanics, because technically you need to put the gear in first and it's a working part. So we've just done a little bit of surgery to it so I can put the wheels in later on, because I don't want to put those in quite yet. So that's obviously showing all of that down in there. And then there's no getting away with it. It's the same with most Harrier kits. The wing box section as it goes on the top is always an awful fit, and this one doesn't disappoint at all because it's huge. Which we'll talk about again in a moment. And again, this front section, notoriously a nightmare for all Harriers, but this one is completely out of shape. It's not a join. This is like 90 degrees and it should be smooth and all the rest of it. So as you'll see in a minute, we've taken our time and we've sanded and filled with that one to get that one a little bit nicer. Then finally, the big moment is getting the wings box on. So the wings actually all going on it. We can get the tail onto it and we're going to get it all glued down into place. And then finally, we've got something looking a little bit like a Harrier. So as you can see just down in here, we ended up with this one. So as you can see, she's all done. She's in. There's a few things you're going to catch up on Monday's part. One of them is obviously just sanding and profiling this. So it's a nice curve. There's no giant step in it. And you can probably see I've just started rescribing in very lightly some details into here. So we need to put all of the details back in. So obviously rescribing it, going around, but I've wanted it to be a nice, general, smooth edge. None of this step business that it's got. And also at the back, it had a huge hump on it. So there's a small hump on here, but nothing like it had back there. So that's all got in. So what we're going to do, rescribe all of this, we need to re-rivet it, sort all that out. And then the big thing on Monday's part is that you'll notice now this has got a nice smooth, or it will be when I sand it all down, finish. You'll notice it literally goes like that. It's a scoop into it. It's not nice at all. So I've completely reprofiled the back end of the Harrier. So it's now smooth from up here to the tail. Whereas before it was quite a dippy mark in there and stuff. So that covers it. We've also got the front put on. So really once I sand and tidy this one up, which I'll do over the weekend, we'll be actually into a position where we can actually think about getting this one properly together for the first time. Everything else is done for it, but it's just getting these bits on. And once that's done and happy, we'll get a proper coat of primer onto it. We can do all the rescribing, re-riveting and all the bits and pieces. So we're all good. And then once that's all done, we can finally get some paint on it. And as soon as that happens, this will come together incredibly quickly. Because again, we've got 3D nozzles down in there. We've got the seats done and all the wheels and bits and pieces. So a definite upgrade to it, but it's actually looking really, really nice. And it's one of these kits I've been a bit cautious about starting it, about what we're going to let ourselves in for, but it's actually paying me back in buckets because I'm having a lot of fun doing it. It's not that bad a kit, to be honest, at the end of the day. It's nothing as bad as the nightmares as I remember, but I want it to be right because it's big and I don't plan to do any more of these. So I want it to be spot on. So again, this bit at the back, I could have left it, but I was thinking, do you know what? I think we need to take care of it. So we'll go through and we'll get it done correctly. The other thing, of course, is Blue Thunder. And here she is, looking very much the part. So those decals are on. So on Saturday, because we've got a Saturday live show, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, we can actually do Blue Thunder, and we're going to finish it off. So it's going to get a satin coat right the way over it, and then obviously some of the final bits of weathering and various stuff onto it, and we'll be completing this actual build, which has been a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed this kit. It's the old classic monogram 132nd Blue Thunder. And again, it's, I don't know, it's just something about it. It's a cool helicopter. Not a Airwolf, I know, but hey, it's close. But anyway, we're going to be finishing this one off as we make our way through. And that's the big thing to remember. We've got a live show tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I know on Tuesday, Matt originally said we're going to have to do it in the afternoon at 2. He's rescheduled, so we can actually do it in the morning, because mornings are definitely a bit better, not to mention a bit cooler for doing this type of stuff as well. So if you want to come along and you want to join us on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, you're more than welcome. Obviously, it's free to watch. It's going to be open in the chat rooms as well. So if you want to join us in YouTube land and ask questions and generally kick back, have a cup of coffee, perhaps do a little bit of modelling, we'd love to have you along as well. So you can join us for that particular one. This week as well, we've done a lot of reviews. So as you can see down in here, the review section is absolutely full up with stuff at the moment. So it all started over here. One thing I will say, I am not a brush painter by any stretch of the imagination. I am an animal when it comes to brushes. Somebody once bought me some Windsor 7s. Within 2 weeks, I'd ruined them. That's how bad I am. So there's no real point me doing a review on how a paintbrush works, because I am not a person you would trust with a paintbrush. What I do like about these, though, is that they've all got individual heads. So as you can see down in here, you just replace the tips. And from my useless point of view, for whatever I know, I actually really like the brushes. They are very nice. They're very soft. They've got some great points to them and all the bits and pieces that I would look for. And again, I do like the display metal ones down in here, but also the plastic, the cheaper handle ones as well. They are really, really nice because they're great. So if you've got some hand problems, shall we say, you know, some syndromes and things like that, and you struggle with a thin sort of normal paintbrush, these are absolutely for you. And I know we've got a few members who do suffer from hand problems as well, and they absolutely love these purely because of that, because they're very, very easy on the old hands. All right. So again, I know a lot of people have said, oh, it's a complete thing, it's just heads and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, you're taking this the wrong way. I'm just showcasing them for you. It's a personal choice, but actually I do like them from a brush point of view and all the rest of it. I think they're great. What I've done is I've sent up a set to Matt, and Matt's going to have a play with them, because Matt obviously is a figure painter. He can give his honest review on what he thinks of the actual bristles and what they're like. All right. But again, it's one of those things we were just going through, really showcasing them. But some really nice touches. Display makes some really good high quality products, and they're not a bad price either. They work out around about £1 a head. So from that point of view, I think it's not too bad at all. All right. So if you want to catch up with that one, you can have a look at the review on there just like that. All right. The other thing as well, we go back, we've got another one on the sander sets. So down in here, we're obviously looking at the mini drill set, and obviously we've got polishing sponges all for this particular ones. We've got carving sets as well for it, all in here. It's a USB-C cordless drill, 3-speed. It's really nice. It does the trick. It's got a fantastic little chucky thing on it because it's dead center. There's no movement in it at all. And again, you've got a sponging set you can go through. You've got sanding pads and they're sticky pads, and you can just stick them on. To be honest, I used it on the Harrier and it's worked a treat. It actually, you know, I buzzed all around this with it and it worked an absolute treat with it. Charging time isn't long at all either. I think it did it in around about 30 minutes from flat. So it's actually quite a nice bit of kit. But again, you've got all carving bits as well you can get for it and all the rest of it. And it's just a simple design. The other one's a parallel scriber. Probably not so much most of us what we'll do, but if you're into Gunpla, sci-fi, stuff like that, this is an absolute must, because you just dial it in what you want as parallel lines and off you go. It is simple to use as that. It really is nice. The new style, obviously, this is like the pin vise type thing. And then obviously use their bits in there, and it's a screw at the top. It works. It's really, really nice. And to be honest, I had trouble with the end, kept falling off of my old one all the time. This one doesn't do that, or certainly hasn't done it yet. So it's a really nice piece of kit. So anyway, you can go off and you can see all the reviews on those ones. That's up with you right now as well. And then last up, we've got the knife set. So we've got the knife set one down in here as well. So you can get replacement blades for it, obviously a fine and an ultra fine one. And then obviously we've got normal knives up here, which I really, really like as well. So these little things are, if I just grab one here, we've got the saw, which this is a typical display. It's completely overkill, and that's why I like it. So again, it literally just goes like so. and you've got razor saw in here. Obviously you've got a couple of screws for slackening it off, and away you go. But again, you can interchange all the blades, and you've got the end, and it just fits like that. It's really comfortable in the hand, and it's nice. It's metal, it's anodized, and all the rest of it. It is very nice indeed. And again, we were talking about the knives. These are absolutely great. I love these knives. This is the more expensive one with a metal handle. Short little blades, you get 20 replacement blades for it, and it is absolutely great, because if you're like me and you like to mask up your canopies and that, having a long blade like a number 11 in there, it's too big. I like the shorter blade design because I can get right in there. Also for carving and deburring and stuff like that, these are great blades for it. I know Matt uses it a lot on his figures, and again, it's just really, really nice bit of kit. The cheaper version to it, again, for people with hand problems, same handle that's on the brushes. It's got a rubber foot, little one down in there. And again, you've got hand things. And this is great. And also what's really nice is it can't roll. Yet the expensive one can roll, and it can land in your lap and cause serious injuries. But this one doesn't, because obviously it's like a triangle, like a Toblerone. So again, we've got that one as well. So if you want to go off and you can see that review, it's up on the site right now. It went up today. You can see it in there as well. All right, so lots of stuff in there. And then obviously over in the PM store. So new arrivals coming into the PM store this week. As I say, the border models 1/35th scale Fokker Wolf, those went out this week. So if everyone paid, you've probably got it by now. If you haven't paid, can you make payment? We'll get it out to you straight away. So the pre-order for those has landed at the discount price. Obviously that's the full price now. And then obviously we've got the Lightnings. Unfortunately, we are at the 2-seat Lightnings. So even I didn't get one. But I'll get them on the next turn, and all the others down in there like that. We've got new stuff coming in, a lot of new stuff coming in soon. Special offer section. Unfortunately, we've sold out of the actual Starfighters, which are absolutely great kits. Again, as soon as it's sold out, they get removed from down in here. And again, this will be updated shortly as well. All right. So you want to keep an eye on that. But the Phantoms are down in there, just 30 quid as well. It's a great kit. So again, some really, really nice stuff down in there. Plus the fact I know we've had a huge AK restock this week. Lots of new paints. Obviously, lots of paints have been restocked that were out of stock, and all the usual sundries, AKs and all that type of thing as well. So if you need to get anything, have a look down in there. We've got all you covered at the old pmmodelsuk.com store. And again, you can go through down in there. So this weekend, to go coincide with our special, we've got 10% off all kits. All right, and that excludes obviously special offers, damage boxes, and the Dragon section. All right, because obviously Dragon's got its own special section as well, because there's a big discount on that one. In fact, that's only gone live in the last couple of seconds, so I take it Andy's working on that literally as we do this. All right, so again, if you want to catch up with any of these, we will go through them obviously tomorrow. All right, and that is about it. So good news is we're with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning to around about midday. I'm going to finish off Blue Thunder. Andy's going to be on with us. I know obviously Matt's going to be busy as well working on his Land Rover, so if you want to catch up with that, I'll probably do a little bit of sanding on this one and a bit of filling as we make our way through the day as well. It'd be lovely to have you along with that one. Obviously PM, as you can see, has got a bit of a sale going at the moment, and obviously with Flory models as well on the washes, I'm going to have a bit of a sale on those as well. So if you want to get anything, hold out until tomorrow, and then you can grab a few little bargains on the way with that one. And that is about it for this week. What a fantastic week. Really, really busy. Next week, I promise you, the Harrier will be in paint and looking a lot better, hopefully, as we go through. And again, next week, we're going to be starting with something new, which will be sci-fi. Lots of people are asking me to do sci-fi at the moment, so I'm doing a sci-fi build for obviously the free shows on Tuesday. So keep an eye out on Tuesday. We might talk about it tomorrow, but if not, obviously on Tuesday I'll be starting a new build, because obviously Blue Thunder will be finished off. So it'd be nice to have this one done and out of the way. So yes, good job. Just recently, we finished off our Best of British group build stroke SIG. This was obviously as a little bit of a thing to the late Queen during her reign. So we did it from obviously her date when she, took over the reins to obviously her death. All right. So anything that was British between those two dates. And that's what we did. And we had some absolutely fantastic models by you guys playing tribute to her. So I'm going to leave you from that gallery as we make our way through to the end of the show. So anyway, that's it from me. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Until then, here is the Best of British gallery.